The fastest way to make a woman lose interest is to give her exactly what she wants, exactly when she wants it, every single time. That sentence alone will irritate half the men watching this, and hook the other half who've lived the disaster. If you've ever been the great guy who validated her feelings, admired her endlessly, showed up on command, and still watched her drift toward the man who gave her less, stay with me. This is not an accident. It's architecture. Before we go any further, take care of the mechanics. If you want coaching, the link is in the description and pinned comment. Use it if you're tired of guessing. And our latest Patreon video is called How Women Decide You're Emotionally Handled. If you've ever felt yourself downgraded from potential to predictable, that video explains exactly how that judgment gets stamped. Now let's talk about addiction. Women do not get addicted to men who ignore them. That's the lie bitter men tell to protect their egos. They get addicted to men who partially validate them. The difference matters. Total neglect feels like rejection. Total validation feels like suffocation. Partial validation feels like a puzzle. And puzzles activate obsession. Addiction doesn't come from pleasure alone. It comes from uncertainty mixed with reward. Casinos understand this. Drug dealers understand this. And quietly, women who know how to play men understand this too. The man who doesn't fully validate her doesn't reject her worth. He withholds final approval. He acknowledges, but never crowns. He sees her, but doesn't kneel. That gap, small but persistent, is where fixation grows. Most men are allergic to this idea because they want love to be transactional. If I give her enough reassurance, she'll feel secure and choose me. That's a child's fantasy dressed up as maturity. Security without tension kills desire. Desire requires friction, and friction requires restraint. When a woman encounters a man who doesn't fully validate her, the first thing she feels is irritation. Her charm didn't land cleanly. Her beauty didn't immediately disarm him. That irritation sharpens into curiosity. Curiosity deepens into focus. Focus turns into emotional investment. By the time she realizes what's happening, she's already circling him. Here's the part that makes simps foam at the mouth. This isn't cruelty. It's competence. A man who doesn't overvalidate isn't playing games. He's revealing that his sense of value isn't outsourced. Women feel this viscerally. They spend their lives swimming in male approval like it's tap water. When one man doesn't drink greedily, he stands out like a scarcity event. There's actual research behind this dynamic, even if academics wrap it in polite language. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology by Whitchurch, Wilson, and Gilbert found that uncertainty about how much someone likes you can increase attraction more than knowing they like you a lot. Participants were more drawn to individuals whose feelings were unclear than to those who expressed consistent interest. In other words, ambiguity doesn't repel, it magnetizes. That study alone should end the debate, but men keep arguing because accepting it requires discipline. Women get addicted to men who don't fully validate them because those men force them to participate. Validation on tap turns her into a consumer. Partial validation turns her into an investor. And investors don't walk away easily. They've got skin in the game. Notice what happens emotionally. She starts replaying interactions. Did he like that joke? Why didn't he compliment her the way others do? Why did he change the subject when she expected praise? Her mind fills the silence you refuse to fill for her. She starts doing the work. That work bonds her far more than your compliments ever could. Men who fully validate are trying to buy affection up front. Men who partially validate are letting affection accrue interest. Now, a word about women who can play men. They respect this dynamic because they use it themselves. They know the power of not giving everything away. They know that mystery isn't deception, it's leverage. When such a woman meets a man who operates the same way, she doesn't call him toxic. She calls him dangerous, in the flattering sense. He's not easily moved. He doesn't collapse into awe. He doesn't rush to reassure her insecurities like an unpaid therapist. This is why men who overvalidate often end up resented. Their attention feels cheap. It costs them nothing. They give it to everyone. A woman doesn't feel chosen by that. She feels absorbed. And absorption is claustrophobic. Dark humor moment. Men will watch a woman scroll past 50 compliments on her phone, add theirs as number 51, and then wonder why it didn't change her life. Congratulations, you became background radiation. The man she gets addicted to is the one who doesn't deny her value, but also doesn't make it the center of his universe. His validation is specific, earned, and rare. When it comes, it lands. When it doesn't, the silence speaks louder than praise. This is also why addiction often fades once the man starts over-validating. The moment he shifts from selective to constant, the spell breaks. She feels the power rebalance. What once felt like pursuit now feels like pressure. And pressure kills fantasy. Men love to blame female psychology for this, as if it's some moral failing. It's not. It's how human desire works. You don't crave what you already own. You crave what you might earn. Women are simply more honest about responding to that pull. Now let's be clear about the line most men cross. Partial validation is not emotional starvation. Withholding everything makes you irrelevant. The man women get addicted to still engages. He still listens. He still enjoys. He just doesn't rush to seal the deal emotionally. He leaves the story unfinished. And that unfinished story gnaws. Homework. Because insight without action is just intellectual voyeurism. For the next few weeks, pay attention to how quickly you validate. Watch how often you rush to reassure, compliment, or affirm before anything has been earned. Practice slowing that impulse. When you do validate, make it precise. Make it about something specific she did or said, not her existence. Then stop. Let the moment breathe. Also observe your discomfort when you don't validate. That anxiety is the addiction leaving your system. Sit with it. If you can't tolerate that silence, you'll never create it in others. Finally, notice which women lean in when you stop overgiving, and which disappear. The ones who disappear were never interested in you, only in the attention. The ones who stay, they're responding to the gap you created. If you like this video, subscribe. Not as validation for me, but because you recognize when a pattern finally makes sense. And comment below with this. When you stopped fully validating, did she lean in, or did she test you harder? Welcome to the dark side of your mind, an armory disguised as advice. Everything here exists to give you clarity sharper than the games being played against you. The reading is where I dissect your situation with precision. What he meant, what he didn't, what you missed. About 1,000 words, plus one follow-up question to tighten the strategy. The case file is the full autopsy, a complete psychological breakdown in writing, plus a private audio message so you hear the parts most people avoid. One follow-up to lock it in. If you want speed, there's the whisper. 400 words. Direct. Unfiltered. No extra dialogue. If you prefer tone and voice, the weight of the message itself, The transmission gives you a private audio response. No follow-up, no hand-holding. And if your situation is messy enough for multiple angles, buy 2 services, and the third is free. Strategy rewards commitment. If you want the truth delivered publicly, without exposing yourself, there's the public whisper. 1 question, 1 strategic answer, posted for others to learn from. Short, clean, no follow-up. You already know why you're here. You ask your question, and within 72 hours, you get clarity most people never develop. Emotional discipline, psychological leverage, the ability to stop repeating patterns that drain you. The dark side of your mind isn't here to soothe you. It's here to change how you move.